Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. Now, this week we are talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, but if I'm being 100% honest, is also super stressful when I think about it. And I'm wearing my shirt in honor of this week's Weekly Wisdom. So my shirt says, I came, I saw, I made it awkward. This is like the definition of my life, y'all. And so what we're talking about today is networking for leaders. Ooh, I said it. Don't get mad at me. Don't turn off the video. It's important. Networking for leaders. Now, when we think about networking, a lot of us, especially if we're more on the introverted side, we're like, nope, nope, not doing it. Not. I'd rather stay at home with my book. I feel you. I feel you, my friend. I feel you. But networking for leaders is critical for a few reasons. The first reason that networking is critical for leaders is so that you can get to know people outside of your small team. What happens with this and why it is so important is because as you get to know people, you'll get to know who's really good at what, who's passionate about what, whose team does what. And when something happens on your team, or something happens for a customer, or something goes wrong, you'll be able to better utilize the resources that you have available to you through the people that you know. So when we think about networking, there's networking within your organization and networking outside of your organization. Networking outside of your organization is important for point 2, which we'll talk about in a moment. But what I'm talking about is networking within your organization. Getting to know individuals at your level and below and above, and understanding what they do and how that impacts the greater organization. The other positive piece to doing this is you will have a better understanding of who does what for when things go wrong. You'll understand your resources, but you'll also become a person that other individuals will be able to go to you when they need to be connected to other people. It's one thing, I am not good at networking just for the sake of getting to know people. I struggle a lot with that. But I love being a connector between, oh, you're looking for a graphic designer? I know an amazing graphic designer. Or you're looking for a speaker that talks about diversity, equity, and inclusion? I have 5. Let's connect you. So people have learned that when they need to be connected to somebody, they can come to me. So that's one of the first pieces. Now, the second piece, the reason why networking is so important, this is talking more of outside of your organization, is because you always want to have your name known for when you can't be in a room. There are people in the room that can support you. So if you're looking to join a board of directors, if nobody on that board knows you, it's going to be hard to get on that board of directors. Or if you're looking for a new professional opportunity, it's much easier to get in when somebody already knows you, because right, wrong, or indifferent, people like to work with people they know, like, and trust. And so a way to network effectively that can also help if you're not into networking just to get to know people, like there has to be a purpose, is join an association. If you're an HR professional, join your local SHRM chapter. I'm a member of the National Speakers Association, and my local chapter, the North Texas chapter. Shout out, one of the best chapters in the country. We enjoy meeting and working together, and they also help me figure out how I'm going to drive my business. How am I going to make it better? There is an association for everything, y'all. Everything. And so when you're thinking about it, what are those ways that you can connect to other professionals in your industry? And then the third reason why you want to do networking, that third piece to the puzzle, is based on promotion. If you want to get promoted either up into leadership or laterally into different individual contributor roles, it helps to know the individuals, or more importantly, it helps for the individuals to know you. When I was working at Walt Disney World and I really wanted to get a permanent leadership position instead of one that was just temporary, I sent out a weekly newsletter that talked about a challenge that I had that week and a magical moment that I made that week. And when I would meet with people, I would let them know, hey, I'm doing this. Would you like to be added to the email list? Now, the reason for doing this, I knew most of them didn't read the email, and I was fine with that. What I wanted was my name to appear in their mailbox every single week, Because when somebody was, hey, we need a new retail leader, what talent do you have? They're like, oh, you know what? I've been talking to this person named Summer. You should really connect with her. So I'm not saying send out a weekly newsletter. Not gonna lie, I was desperate. Not saying do weekly, but maybe monthly. Is that something that you can do? Keep a pulse of your industry. Send out interesting news articles. Build a group of individuals that see what you do and that your name comes up. Lee Cockrell and Dan Cockrell, who were both executives at Walt Disney World, were amazing at this. Every month they would send out a newsletter that talked about what was going on at Walt Disney World, what were some of the interesting things coming up, and they sent it everywhere from frontline cast members all the way up to execs every month. And then what would happen is it would get passed around Disney and it would come to me and I'd be like, oh, I really want to be a part of that. So I'd email them and get added to the list. How can you offer value to those around you in a way that works for you and your skill set, that maybe doesn't look like traditional networking? There's networking for extroverts, and then there's networking for introverts. Either way, networking is a critical component of leadership. We can't avoid it. So if traditional networking isn't your style, there's a lot of other ways that you can find to make sure that your name stays top of mind. All right, that is it for this week's Weekly Wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you have an amazing week. And don't forget, as always, you got this. I'll see you next week.